Hello there, Survivor! Welcome back to another video on ARK Survival Ascended. Today we're looking at my best builds in ARK, and especially on the island. The first 5 months of this game we've spent there, and I've built some pretty cool bases, if I say so myself. From very modern builds like my modern Tek Base or my A-frame, to rebuilding the ruins on the middle of the map or on top of the mountain, to my Japanese inspired build on Herbivore Island, including a Japanese castle and much more. In this video we're going to be looking at all of those builds, and for most of these I will have either a full build tutorial out there so you can do it for your own base, or I'll have some videos showing off the place in a little bit more detail that I will be doing today, just because, of course, for time's sake, if I spend a lot of time on all of these bases, we're gonna be here for a while. Oh, and before I forget, if you have any suggestions of builds that I should do in the future, for example, for Scorched Earth or any of the other maps that are hopefully coming soon, let them know down in the comments below. And if you want to show even more support for me and my channel, you can always consider becoming a YouTube member. With that being said, let's get into it and let's look at the first base. Let's start it off with one of my most recent builds, and it's this modern Tek House A-frame build, which is basically symbolizing that I've beaten the island and that we've ascended as well. And it's the ultimate base, I call it, because it basically has everything that you could ever need. I kind of wish that in the design I would have made it like one block higher here, one structure higher in the middle, because then even Karchas and Gigas, I think, would be able to fit underneath it without clipping through the floor. But still, this is one of my favorite designs. I'm going to say that a lot today, but yeah, this is definitely like finishing the island in style. This is a very cool modern base. I kind of like to build in any style, like modern, medieval, everything. I like to try it all, but this is definitely a big step up from my previous modern build, which we'll see in a little bit later along this tour. But yeah, this is a very cool build. So we have the left wing, which is basically the dino wing, so breeding, hatching, cryopods, whatever, you know, everything dino related is at the left side of the building. And then in the middle, of course, we have the hangar or the garage to park your dinos, to you know, the most used ones. You can easily fly in and out, you can easily walk in and out from the back. And then on the right side, this small front part is the storage area, and we got the crafting area behind that, and we have a little greenhouse on top as well. Let's get started with the actual tour, looking around a little bit. So yeah, we got this big place where you can easily park dinos, should be no problem, which is basically the bottom part of the A-frame. I think I've even hidden some extra storage behind these ones. If you wanted to, you could use that as well. Probably don't need it because it's already pretty big build. So these are the dino facilities, as I said, perfect for breeding, hatching, you know, whatever you want. We got the cryopods here, which will be very important for me. Now I'm going to be traveling off to Scorched Earth. It's nice to have a place to safely keep all the dinos and make sure that I have enough power here. A little bit of storage for everything dino related, and a fridge as well as an elevator to the top. But we'll yeah, let's go up, actually. Let's go up. But yeah, this is just a very simple way to do all the hatching and breeding in a safe environment. We also have another gate to leave the premises on that side as well. And on top, we just have a couple of places to sit down, relax. We also have easy access if you want to drop stuff in that we're bringing around, or you want to have the Ryanetha or baby flyers, just access to the roof. We've got the living quarters over here, which are nice and cozy. I've used some custom cosmetics here to decorate, feel a little bit more modern. For the rest, it's a pretty simple design, but efficient. And then from here, we also have access to the crafting and storage area, as well as another part of the roof where the transmitter is located, so that we can easily transfer to the other worlds. And the most important room is right over here, so you can go to the toilet. You know, everyone needs to go once in a while. And then you can do it right over here and still have access to all the other rooms that you need. Let's drop down here. So this is also accessing the main hangar in the middle. We have a lot of storage here, both the tech storage and just a bunch of vaults. Got a little crafting station there if you need it. Some little bit more storage over here as well. We got another elevator here as well to go up and down if we want to access the other layers. And then we got the industrial forge, the replicator fitting inside as well as every other crafting thing that we could ever need. Some more storage here right next to the smithy, just to make it all nice and easy. So yeah, that is the crafting area. We got a nice balcony to look out on it as well. And then we got another elevator here in the corner to go up into the greenhouse. Currently I have no plans because I'm planning on being on scorched earth for the most part. But yeah, a little greenhouse here as well. Easy access to the rest of the roof, some protection, or you could just have some plants to look nice. And again, also access from the sky or from the roof to the crafting area, so you can easily put things in the forge or the replicator from above as well, for the Ryanetha, for example. So yeah, there we go. That is my modern tech base, the ultimate base, I say. I really enjoyed working on this. But let's go on to the next build. We are arriving at the next base, which is my Japanese Herbivore Island base, which was a very fun project. Fun fact, this was actually the style I was planning on doing on the center, but then it got delayed. So I figured, let's go ahead and do it anyway. See if I can actually make it work in ARK. So we got this Japanese bridge with like the behemoth gate underneath it to, you know, ensure that everything inside is safe over here. We've got the pagoda as well, which in my case is kind of like a dino storage, because you can go in right here. You have everything you need, cryopods, whatever, some place to store some dinos, and then up there you have place for RGs and pterodons to fly in and out. And then we got a Torii gate as a little bit of detail for a base like this. You can't really not have those, and probably if you build a bigger base, I would have a couple of them around just to show like kind of what the paths are. Then we got a docking area, of course, since it's an island. You'll probably be using boats and you can dock them here. Then we got some walkways and the crown jewel of this base, the Japanese castle. And this one really turned out very nice in my opinion. I really love the way we were able to get this to work. Unfortunately, the design that I've done here, you can't really do it exactly like this on official, because there's a little bit of overlapping, and unfortunately official doesn't allow that. But still, I think it's very cool that I was able to make this style work in ARK with just the normal structures. And yeah, definitely a style that I really like, and that I probably will be building in more, doing more builds and more designs eventually. Maybe if one day we do get the center, for example, or maybe a different map. But yeah, very nice style, and it's also a pretty big base. Everything you need to craft is inside, so especially early on, this would be a pretty nice base. You can plant some stuff inside. You got the industrial forge that fits inside. We got a little bit of storage. Probably want some more storage somewhere. You got a little sitting area. If you don't have the industrial forge yet, you can have a bunch of normal forges everywhere, of course. And then, yeah, this is basically the downstairs area. We got a little bedroom up here with the love ascended beds. And then up here, we actually have a little place where you can park your pterodons, your RGs, just your flyers for easy access to your base. And then in this case, because I built it on Herbivore Island, I left a beautiful back garden here that you can enjoy. You could also, if you lose some pets, have a little graveyard here as well. And I tried to stay clear of the rest of Herbivore Island, so you still have all these spawns, or most of the spawns, for materials like metal, etc., so that you can still have the best parts of Herbivore Island. Yeah, there we go. That is my Japanese Herbivore Island base. One of the cooler styles, the more unique styles, I think, that I've done on my time on the island. And yeah, definitely a style that I would like to revisit and do more in at some point. Probably not on Scorched Earth, but definitely on one of the other maps that we'll be playing on at some point, hopefully. From the start of exploring the island and seeing what kind of ruins there were and spots to build, This was definitely always on my list to build a base at, but it took me a little while because my friends settled down here, and at first I wasn't part of their base or tribe because I wanted to be on my own and do my own building, but eventually I got around to rebuilding all of these ruins and basically rebuilding their base to use, and we got a bunch of things here. We got a little farm area for our sheep right here at the end. This whole building, all we really do is do a little polymer farming at the bottom, but it does look really nice. And then we got our forge area right here in the middle, which basically allows us very easily to drop off the Anki at the forge, smelt everything, and take it away again. And then this building right here is the main building. So we got some towers just as extra details. We got our beds in here, the spawn points. We got all the crafting and storage in there as well. And we got a top area for like food and just cozy vibes. And we also recently have added a teleporter as well, so we're easily able to teleport around to some of the bases I've built around the map. And then on top of here, this is actually one of my houses, because, you know, I at some point I figured, you know what, I'll just build myself a house because I don't know what to do with this last ruin. So yeah, this is just my house. And then we also added the first little tech build here for the tech replicator. And then on top of the mountain, oops, we got our little dino pan castle. Still a very nice design, especially since the weird terrain, the steep terrain, the different layers. I really like this this quite simple but nice wall design, and of course these towers as well. It's very efficient, not too difficult to do, but it does work very well as a protected dino pen area for all your tames. Now, as this is quite a big place, I don't want to walk around and go into every single building because that would take me so much time. And there are already videos on this build on my channel if you want to see more, but I'll do quickly the most important part. So here we got our tech stuff. We got my house on the inside, which is mostly for show because I haven't really used it that much. We got some chibis here just chilling out. And then some of my armor and my bedroom here. Very simple. But yeah, still looking nice, I think. And then let's also check out the main building because that is what is a very practical base. I didn't do this interior for the most part. My tribe mates, my friends did this because it was their base. So there's a lot of storage down here. Some painting, some armor, and a very important room once again. Never forget your most important room of your base. Then this layer isn't really used. We have a grinder here, but we're not really using that. And then this whole wing is pretty much empty. There's just one bed down there. This hallway was decorated lovely for Christmas, but now it's also empty. We got the beds to respawn over there. And then just the towers, which aren't really used because you don't need that much things in your base. Especially if you so many buildings. And then the little living quarters, which are still a little bit in Christmas vibes, but that's alright. As you can see, this is probably the most cozy place of this base. But yeah, overall, I had such a great time rebuilding all these structures. Definitely one of the bigger bases because these ruins were just very big. So all the builds were kind of big houses. And this could probably be the base of like a super giant tribe, but at the best we were with the three of us. So yeah, you can see how extensive all these buildings are, but it looks cool, and in the end that's all I care about. A nice cool looking base that is also practical in use, I guess. And then it's time for my underwater tech base right over here. It's a little variation of the modern ultimate tech base that we saw at the start of this video, but now it's just underwater. So basically this is a bunch of vacuum tech compartments that makes it able to breathe underwater, and they look kind of funky as well if you open them up, and then just building around it to make it look a little bit nicer. So let's get in here because we can just swim into this build. And I did a little bit of decoration, so we got some options for storage. We got a forge here, just in case. More importantly, we've got some cryos for all your water cryos. We got power, of course. Feeding trough. I'll show you in a little bit why that's important. Some more storage. and then respawn points as well, because this is very close to one of the ocean caves. Then you have a staircase to go up here. You got a crafting station here. And then back here, the second half or 2 rows of this base is actually made into a big aquarium so that you can swim in your ocean tames, mostly the smaller ones, the mags and stuff like that. So you can park them inside very safely instead of having to keep them on the outside. So yeah, this was one of the later builds. Probably, yeah, this was actually the last build I did on the server. But yeah, quite happy that I did, because I've never actually done an underwater base. Definitely not with the tech stuff. So it was cool to basically take down the last remaining material that I hadn't used yet and build a base like this. And then actually quite close to the underwater tech base is my ocean base. So let's go there. And there we have it. The ocean base was my first modern build. It was inspired by a build by Kitari, mostly this right part, and then I made a very big A-frame to fit in all of my crafting stuff, along with this addition to the side to have a little square area and make this side part a little less boring. We got some nice dino docks as well, where you can easily park a couple of mags in, or some other water tames as well, and just really easily access them and go in. And of course, we got a lot of the walkways with the walls underneath them as well, so that you can basically safely have a bunch of tames within this area. So yeah, this whole area was basically safe, so I could easily also park like the bigger ones, the Mosas and everything down here as well. Got a bunch of A-frames now. For all of these A-frames, I have tutorials up, even for the big one, and then also for the dino dock. So all of this you can actually build for yourself as well. And then the walkways are very simple. You just start connecting builds, and you do the little quarter wall, and then you connect the pillar to it to have the half pillar basically, and have some railing in between. And yeah, I actually really like building on the water. I did this later on in my series or in my playthrough, and I didn't really use the base for that much, mostly to beat the cave that is very close to this. But this is a great spot to build at. You've got these beautiful waterfalls as well inland, and just a nice little bay to build at. So definitely would recommend, if you still are going to build on the island at some point, this is an amazing spot. Okay, let's look around some of these builds, because yeah, this is a base that I used for a while, so I did actually do the decorations for at least this one, not for the smaller A-frames. I didn't really use those as houses. We got a bunch of storage, some chemistry benches, also a new teleporter that I added in to be able to quickly get here if I wanted to. All the crafting stations that we need are also available. The forge easily fits in as well. Plenty of storage, all the things that we need. And then the best part is actually having the generators be hidden underneath. You can see the new one replace the old one right there, so that you can still have your power without having it be on show. Although I suppose we have plenty of space, so it wouldn't really matter too much. The plants have all died since, because I haven't been here in a while. But that's alright. We got cryo fridge, and these are the living quarters, so that we have a nice little table here. We got a bunch of storage here as well. We got the bedroom right here, and then a little kitchen area here as well as just some nice places to hang out and look at the map, I guess. Yeah, this is definitely a nice build and a good base to use. I've built it on the ocean. If you have a big enough space, you can probably build it also just on land if you would want to as well. Of course, we can't forget about the ruins right here on the middle of the map, between the volcano and metal mountain over there. Because this was my first main base where I did a lot of builds and a bunch of tutorials. We got my little starter house right over there, the first tutorial that I did. And then we got a big stable build here as well, which was also a tutorial. And then we got a bunch of other things. We got a greenhouse. We got the workshop down there as well. a bunch of Christmas decorations as well. Rebuilding these ruins here, and then we even have the guest house over here too, and some walls, not very detailed, probably the weakest part about this build, on the front and on the back. But overall, this was a great base, a great position on the map, very central, very good location to easily have access to a bunch of good stuff around, and just a very good looking place if you want to rebuild ruins. And yeah, I definitely think we did some great builds over here, if I say so myself. Let's look at a couple of them in a little bit more detail. Now we got these tables over here that are actually quite well decorated. They are completely empty now because I've moved all my dinos into cryos for scorched earth. This bird has been left here by my tribe mates, and they've never used it, I think, but it's still here waiting. Someday, hopefully, it will be picked up. Got a greenhouse here. That's probably also all dead plants, but inside here, this is my little, almost my starter house, my second house. From my Bob shack, I went to this one, and it's still nicely decorated. It's got a bunch of Christmas lights as well. You know, why not? It's just a nice atmosphere, and we got a great view of the whole base here, which was always a great selling point of this place. Now there's a bunch of ruins and builds around here. I won't go into all of them, but there's plenty of videos if you want to see more on this place. But this is the workshop, one of the later editions, and definitely took me to the next level in ARK. And we got the storage room here, got a lot of the crafting stations as well, all around the forge, the crafting, the smithy here, yeah, basically everything you'll need. And then again, hidden a generator under the floor, because that's just more convenient, especially in a place where it does actually make sense because you have limited space on the inside. Now currently I'm not really using it anymore since I got the new tech generator for the teleporters around, but yeah, definitely a nice workshop. If you're looking for a decently sized workshop where you can fit almost everything inside, this is definitely still a good one to use. And yeah, I have very fond memories of this base because this is basically the start of my ARK adventure, where I started building in ARK Ascended, and also of course where my channel started doing very well because of all the build videos. So I'm still super grateful for everyone checking out my videos and liking my builds. And of course we can't forget about Castle Black in ARK Survival Ascended, one of my first Let's Build series, my first Let's Build streams that I did. So all of this was built live on stream here. And yeah, some cool builds. My watchtower design makes its return, as well as in the gatehouse as well over there. And we built a big longhouse, Viking longhouse, as the main build, main hall for Castle Black, and the watch, which looks very nice in my opinion. And then, yeah, we got a bunch of details here that only really make sense if you know it was like loosely inspired by Castle Black. So we got some gallows over there. We got a bunch of dummies all the way. And then this workshop in the corner actually, which is very nice and definitely like a decently easy, smaller sized workshop that you could build early on. And you could even upgrade it at some point and have like the industrial forge here if you're using it for actual survival. But this was one of the bases that was just fully made creatively just to build something cool and never really used for survival. But it definitely could be because you got a nice safe wall around you, you got a big main building, you got a workshop here, and we even have an elevator up to the top if you would want to use it. Probably not the most convenient way to get up. It's run out of power, unfortunately, so can't go up. But I mean, it does look cool. And the biggest achievement here is to cover up the whole metal elevator and still make it look like it's made from wood, like it was in Game of Thrones. And then, well, we do have an interior for this big build, but it's more made with Game of Thrones in mind. So this is the big hall where they can all sit and eat. And then we got the platform for like the Lord Commander and everything. So not probably the most practical interior for if you're actually planning on using this as a base. And the same with this, because it just has like a lot of rooms where people could sleep. Probably way too many if you're actually using this as a base. But you could do a different decoration and interior, and then you could definitely use this as a pretty nice base build. But overall, I just had a ton of fun working on this, designing this live on stream with some feedback of you guys and some stables here as well. Yeah, it was just a very fun project. And as I said, I will be doing much more of these Let's Build live streams on the channel, just so that I have more interaction with you if I'm building something new and we can do some creative work together. But yeah, this was a very fun project, and also just really wanted to build something in the snow because I actually considered for some time moving into the snow with my main base, but because of the fog, which is quite heavy in the snow biome, I decided not to do it because I don't like to have to put the fog down to 0 all the time, because even though it's better in areas like these, makes it a lot clearer to see, it also, you know, it ruins some other areas, like it makes them look very weird, like underwater it's way too clear if you do this. So I try not to use it too often. But yeah, overall, I definitely really enjoy what we did on this build over here. Very happy with the result, and to still have built something in the snow area. And of course, we can't forget about the little Smuggler's Cove that I built on my community server. It's hidden away on this interesting part of the island near the green obelisk. And you have these cliffs with kind of like cave system behind them where you can easily build a cool base. And the only way to actually get in and out of my base is by this place. Oh, I see the ladder has been destroyed. There used to be a ladder here to get up to there. So I guess we'll just float inside. Yeah, we got a smuggler's hideout here with a couple of different builds. We got the main area over here with some fireplaces where people can hang out and eat and pass out on all these pillows. There's a lot of random stuff here because it's a smuggler base, so it's chaos of all the things they've brought back home, they've stolen from all over the place. So it's a big chaotic mess, but that was on purpose. Then we got a little dock area here as well, so you have easy access into the water and get out onto the ARK. But yeah, I really love this style. Of course, it's all done with modded structures and modded options, which really help bring this whole build to life, in my opinion. Like, there's so much more options that you can do with this than with vanilla ARK, which is a shame because it looks so cool. Wish we had more decorations pieces in ARK, but I think the new adventure packs might help a little bit with that, having some more options with the way we build. There's another little house here with some nice sleeping accommodations here as well, and just a nice view over all of this area. And then you've got a couple of pathways here as well, leading all around to a great fishing spot. Because right over here you have the beautiful view of this lake, and you have an amazing fishing spot. So yeah, that is my Smuggler's Cove build, hidden away in this cliff cave system on the island close to the green op, as I said before. And yeah, this was a really fun build to do, fun little live streams that we did to make this all happen, and quite happy with the result. And for our next stop, it's time to stop off here in the Redwoods for the treehouse build that I did. There's also a tutorial available for this, as with most of my builds. And yeah, I kind of designed this just to finally do something with the tree platforms. I kind of want to do more on one of the future maps, but this is what I came up with. It's pretty good for like a tribe or at least a group of people, because there's a lot of room and a lot of different rooms. And fun fact, actually someone also built this on my community server, but then just as a regular house on the beach, and then you have even more room in the middle. So let's check it out from up close. So I did a little bit of decoration on this part. Basically what you have inside is you have a couple of these side rooms, which I just kind of decorated randomly, and you have these middle connecting parts where you can have more storage or crafting stations, and then again you come to the same piece. So that's what I mean. It's pretty well set up for tribes because everyone could have his own little compartment. I would probably do most of the crafting and storage down here, and then I would probably have your actual rooms, your private rooms, on the second layer, because again we have all these different rooms here. This one is like decorated for maybe 2 people sharing the same room. You have the nice personal balconies to land maybe a flyer on or just enjoy your view. And then around the tree you can go into each other rooms as well. But of course you could close this off if you want your privacy. So yeah, there it is, my treehouse here in the Redwoods. Up next is this little Viking starter house that I did right here with a little dino pen as well to keep some of your smaller tames. So it's just like a fence line with a double door here, and you could have some of these smaller tames pretty safely in here. And then the roof is also painted to be the same color as the surroundings. You have some decent space in here. It's a nice little design. I definitely want to do some like bigger or more Viking builds at some point, probably when we're on a map that fits it. And this has a little interior as well, like the open bit here in the middle for like a fireplace cookout, some places to sit around and everything you need to get started with crafting, some storage, and then there's some more storage and of course a fireplace. And if we go upstairs, we actually have a little bit more storage and of course your beds. So you have a little bit more room up there as well, but it was definitely built for the aesthetics right here. The lovely green roof, and yeah, quite nice little starter house if you need something simple but still looking pretty good. And I've got another place up here in the snow, which is this small log cabin. Another place that could also very well be suited as a starter base. Maybe not in the snow area. There's usually not the kind of area that you would start out in, but size-wise and the resources that are needed, this definitely works as a nice little starter house. It's literally just a small log cabin, but I think it looks good. It's a little small stable here to park like 1 or 2 smaller dino tames when you're visiting. Obviously, it's also kind of like dressed up for the Christmas Wonderland event. We got the forge here on the outside. We got a very narrow interior with the Christmas tree. But you can, of course, take that out. And then you have the smithy there. You have your nice fireplace to chill out at. You've got some crafting stuff here. Some storage all around, even on top on these as well. And a little bed to respawn in this. So this is quite small, but very easy to build because of that. And that makes it a great little starter shack. Maybe if you're not quite sure where you want to build your main base, you just plop one of these down. It still looks good, very efficient, and easy to build. Okay, I've switched over to the community server. You can join this yourself. Just join my Discord for the information. And this is at the Hidden Lake up north. And I built another little safe haven here. You can just come here, hang out, and you should be all safe as long as my plants are still alive. I don't know. Maybe I should check that sometime. But yeah, I made another little build here. It's basically a variation on like the style that I did for like my Japanese castle, but then it's using some modded blocks. So we have these beams going across where you normally couldn't really get beams to go, as well as these corners are a little bit more easy now because you can just connect them with these corner pieces, as well as actually having like a shallow roof for the wooden texture instead of having the ramp, which makes it possible to do the whole roof out of wood instead of the stone that I used in my tutorials, because now you have that variation available. It's actually also built inside a ruin, but not really a rebuilding because I didn't use everything, but still, you know, kind of combines some of my previous builds, I guess. And I didn't really do much for the interior. It's basically just where I have some of the crafting stuff and a little bit of storage in there. But you can visit it and check it out if you would want to. Another build here on my community server might be familiar. It's quite close in design to my other A-frames, but this is one of the safe havens that you can visit if you join the ARK, the Atholdi's ARK. More info is on my Discord, and it's a new variation of one of my A-frames. So it's got a nice big interior with some crafting stations that you can instantly use to cook up some of your early meat or make some dyes. And we have another big A-frame on this side as well. Yeah, actually an improvement, I think, over the A-frames. I made it all the way to the corner in this case, and I also used the Tek roof because I kind of want to check that out, how that looked, and kind of looks nice, that texture compared to metal as well. Got a glass floor just so that we can still enjoy a little bit of what's underneath. Probably should actually update that because since starting the server we've added a bunch of building mods, so you can probably make this look way nicer than with the default materials. But yeah, if you want to check out one of my A-frames in-game without having to build them yourselves by following a tutorial, you can come here. It's not the exact same one as in the tutorial, but the principle is the same. And once you got that down, you can very easily make your own shapes to fit your own needs and fit your own size or whatever you want from it. It's also a good way to check out some of these walkways. I know some people have been asking about how I make them. Honestly, they're not that difficult. It's like a quarter wall that you place to snap to with the pillar, and then you have the railings. But if you're using mods, of course, most cases you also have like half pillars available. You don't need to go through any of the trouble at all. Now, I will be making a full tutorial on my modern Tek base that I did, but in the meantime, I also built it on my community server. Now, it's not quite the exact same as I did in my own server. For one, the A-frame in the middle is a little bit higher to allow Karchas and I believe also Gigas inside without clipping through. Also made this a little bit longer to fit with the terrain over here. And of course, we actually have mods in here, so some of the materials, instead of having to have skins for the greenhouse walls, I just have glass walls here, so it makes it all a little bit easier. But you can come here and check it out for yourself. You've got the whole hangar over here. I haven't done all of the interior yet, but I mean, the structure is here to check out. You got the storage room. This room is a little bit empty still, but the start is here at least. You can see how clear it is with this modded glass build. I also think that this interior is slightly different, but it doesn't matter. And of course we got modded stuff, so it's easier to decorate as well. The toilet stayed though. And then the living quarters here, again, a lot of modded things. So I've started decorating a little bit, but it's not done. But you can come check it out if you want to. You can come check it out as a little added bonus. It's right next to the redwood on the left side of the map. And at last we're here on the edge of the redwoods where I built this little Hagrid's hut inspired by the Wizarding World, Harry Potter. Yeah, I think it's a pretty nice design. I just like the style of this house, basically. Two little circular buildings connected together. I've made use of the Turkey Trials skins here as well with the pumpkins, because that was kind of missing. There's no pumpkins in the game. And yeah, there's just a bunch of plants around. You have a nice little vegetable garden, of course. You can't miss that if you're building a Hagrid's hut like this. Yeah, just a little area next to it. And then the building itself, just two small circular buildings. We got the main one with like a place to hang out with your tribe. A little bit of storage here and there. A nice little map of the world. Smithy. Fireplace, and then the next door thing has your bed in it and a couple more storage and crafting things. But yeah, quite simple, but I really like these kind of builds. The circular design makes it just a little bit more interesting, a little less simple, less default than maybe most people will build their house. And I think this is also probably something that you could quite easily build, maybe as one of your early houses, early bases. And depending, of course, on what you add next to it. Now I've, of course, for the look of it, I've added like a vegetable garden, because you could easily, of course, make this into like a little dino pen instead. That would probably in the gameplay be a little bit more useful than having like a little vegetable garden. Or why not have both? That's also an option. It's just a nice little simple base. And yeah, I liked coming up with this design, and it's a pretty nice spot here as well, on the edge of the redwoods with a nice view of this cliff. And there we have it, all my bases and builds that I've done on the island. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to see all my next builds on all of the other maps that will still come out for Ark Survival Ascended. And if you really want to support my channel even more, you can consider becoming a member. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.